Welcome everyone, Dr. Thor here, another vintage, fascinating development tool. And here it's called the Palm Reader, the game of hand analysis. Your life is in your hands. Well, this is a real cool item, very, very unusual. I don't know if anything's ever been produced like this again. This is from 1972 by Virginia Coy. And it's a really cool system. A very unique way of doing things. The very shape of your hand, including its lines, has special meaning. The art of palm reading, chiromancy, has been practiced for many centuries as a means of character analysis. Many believe that the palm even affords a glimpse into the future. Palm reading is a fascinating new game that makes it easy for anyone to read palms with surprising accuracy. It will give you many, many hours of entertainment with family, friends, and become a highlight of any party. Now, of course, there's huge amounts of books out there on palm reading that you can get of all different types, shapes, and sizes. And it is, again, another fun way to kind of get into interesting conversations with people, find out where they're coming from. And so, is it somebody you want to be around? Are they interested in this? Well, almost everybody's interested in their own being, the potential they may have. Of course, fortune telling. Everybody wants to, their fortune. Whether how seriously they take it or not is not really important. Everybody, it's interesting. It's fun. See, it's just plain on the bottoms. You've got this. It's kind of made like a book where you'd put it on your bookcase. And this was many games at particular time. There was a line of 3M games that used to be bookshelf games, which is a cool way of doing it. Where do you put games? They are kind of odd shaped, and there's no place to put them. People stuff them in closets. Let's open this up now and look what it is inside. And it gives them this nice little, you get this nice little book type thing that folds open. And it's quite a cool kit, unlike anything else I've seen. Of course, you get all the instructions here of how to use it. As I said, we hope to reproduce all these online someplace. But it's very well done. It's very well put together. This person, like everything, people have no idea how much work it takes to do things and produce things. And money. It costs a lot of money to make something like this in any kind of variance of this day and age. There are surprising game manufacturers out there, which they treat games kind of like printing, and you can have your own little game made. But, you can't get things like this made for you because they require specialized items such as this kind of setup. But the way this is different, and which is very, very interesting, is the fact that you assemble yours through pre-made, I guess you could call these puzzle pieces. So you get the pre-made puzzle pieces, and then you match up your actual shape. So it's not just the lines here. This is more of a shape of your hand. Like they've done this with the shape of the heads. There's a whole time, and thousands, I think, books written on the shape of the human head. If your head has this or that, and this determines your phrenology? Is that the name of it? I can't think of it right. I used to collect those books of phrenology, and this would say, well, if you have a head like this and you have a nose like this, you tend to have these personalities. Well, It is interesting, and while I hate to classify people just in these kind of ways, it's very true. These things do determine people's personalities. We see this with autistic people, a particular type of autism. They all have the same rounded heads. So if you were to put pictures of this, of a person like that, you would say, well, this person is autistic, and you would be right just about 99.9% of the time. So shapes are important. So the shape of your hand, and that's exactly what this goes into here, is the actual shape of what you are, your hand is to determine your actual future, what's going on with you, etc. And all this makes sense. Everything is this combined energetic system. A lot of herbs that people have are based on the fact that of what the herb looks like. So if an herb growing in the field kind of looks like a heart, a human heart, then they say, well, that herb is good for your heart. And that goes with kidneys or brain or anything else. They do this with one thing I guess people can relate to, because we all know of it, is walnuts. Now, walnuts kind of looks like your brain. So they've always said, well, walnuts are good for your brain. There are good oils in it, and walnuts are good for you. But and are good for the brain, obviously. But this is the kind of things you've done. So the shape of your hand is interesting. So let's read about this particularly person, Virginia R. Coy, creator of Palm Reader, has been one of the outstanding authorities on hand analysis for over 25 years. She has lectured extensively, appeared on TV, and written newspaper articles on the study of hand analysis. Ms. Coy has personally analyzed the hands of many famous people in politics, theater, medicine, and the arts. As a world traveler, she has analyzed thousands of people from every strata of life. She has published a series of newspaper articles in the Cleveland Press entitled Profiles of the Hands of the Watergate Men. You can see where this 1972, people. The jokey political thing that happened back then, which makes politics today look like kindergarten. Oh, they broke into a hotel. Now, after many years of experience and arduous study, Virginia Coy has created this intriguing game, Palm Reader, that enables anyone to be an expert in hand analysis. She has made the game easy, entertaining, and a source for gaining great knowledge of people and their internal most traits. And here's the where I read that off of. So again, it's kind of cool that this kind of stuff would make it into the actual common use by people, and how it was so popular then. People were interesting. They wanted to know things. It wasn't just all some and you got to remember, this is not that what's happening today is done deliberately to bring people into a very ignorant way of thinking, to keep them very programmed into basically, which is nothing more than comic book dogma that all religion teaches. And that's all it is, it's just comic book dogma. If you want to say, well, the meaning of, and this means any holy books, if you want to say that this has some particular value to help you in life, that these are allegoric and these are images, you want to be more like this saint or this god. Well, you can say that, but to say any of this stuff has any validity when they're all the same, they're just put together junk over hundreds of years, is absurd. So, but, that's what we've come down to. And of course, these things were out there at this time. And here's again, somebody who was well known in newspapers. But, also what I find very interesting is the fact that things go in trends. One thing nice is that things are now open. These subjects are out there. It's not like you can't get a book on palm reading. There are hundreds of them, and you can pick them up anywhere for pennies in used bookstores, which I guess is good. And there's a lot of new books, and I'm sure there are computer programs that you can use as well, which may or may not make these things easy. It's nice to have things in a non-physical format in terms of storage space and other things, but when you don't get into the physicality of things, I think you lose a lot of what's actually going on. You don't have the touchy-feely stuff. So to think that everything's a program and that we've conditioned ourselves to actually do everything in this computer control way, I think we lose a lot. I mean, computers are great for a lot of things, but for your entire consciousness to understand things well, you really need to grasp things. You need to have physical objects as well as the training. So how this works is you pick your actual, let's say this looks like your thumb. You then take it and put it in. Really, what a smart design. I love this. It's so unique and unusual of how this person figured it out, of how to do this. I love things that are designed well. You just don't see that very often. What you really see is common stuff. It doesn't matter how fancy they make the book. It's pretty common stuff. Then you go to the next finger here. Let's say you get this finger here. Let's pull this out here. And that looks like your finger. So it's got this, this is plastic here. It's inexpensive to make. They made it in this nice little book. I mean, as a producer of products and a person that appreciates quality stuff that's put together well, this is really cool. And as I said, I've never seen anything else like this. Here's the other finger. This goes right in here. And they fit perfectly. It's all in there. So all you have to do is look through the fingers. Well, does my finger look like this? And I guess it's good to do this yourself so you can even give that kind of subjective or drawn to, because maybe one looks similar to the other, but yeah, well, this is kind of me. And then, of course, it has the different areas of the palm here. And you insert them in here, depending on which side this is. We'd have to figure, well, it only goes in one way. Well, that's nice, because that makes sure that you don't put it in wrong. So then you can pick, look at your actual. Now, this is where you look on your hand to kind of match some of the lines, which is more traditional to palm reading, is the lines. And you have this kit covers all the major lines. I'm not going to take them all out here. And we got to, these long videos use gobs of data, so they're hard to upload. But you put them in here in the different areas, obviously, to form your personal palm. As I said, how cool is that? This would then go in here. This would go in here. And this should, when you finish it like this should actually look like your palm, your actual palm, or whomever. You can do this for a lot of other people, and this is a fun way to get to know people. This is really intriguing if you use this with somebody. Trying to get to know somebody, trying to help someone, trying to do something fun with a date or at a party. Well, here you go again. Instead of doing inane idiot stuff, smoking dope or drinking, or talking about innate stupidity, here's something that's fun and interesting. And these are all the types of things that you should be looking for and doing out there. But this is a classic thing. I've never seen this often. I'm sure they pop up here and there. Again, we may have some of these. Always check below in these videos. Of course, like and subscribe. If you expect to see great stuff like this in the future, you need to support us. So the whole idea is that always check at the info down below. We may have any of the vintage stuff that we offer here may be available. We do search for these things and try and grab them and make them available for people. But they're super rare. And we are not, they're difficult to get. They're expensive, etc. So, but this is a real fun way. As I said, there are hundreds, if not thousands, of books on palm reading out there. So you certainly can get into palm reading in general. I always recommended this. One of the things I tell occult scientists and manifesting scientists to do in life is make yourself interesting. I mean, everyone is kind of alienated because society is so hostile in general, or into their own things. Well, you should stand out as a manifesting scientist, an occult scientist, as someone who's interesting and knows something. I mean, that speaks volumes about something. Anybody can say how it's kind of silly stuff, but it certainly is a lot of fun. And I don't think when people analyze these things properly that it looks all that silly. But if you're able to do stuff like this and meet somebody and say, hey, I can read your palm. This, of course, is a whole little kit, which is not too appropriate off the street. But if you can do that with somebody in general with that skill, or you're a good, read your cards, anything, to kind of put yourself out there, well, who doesn't want that? Everybody does. And guess what? You're doing it for free. The other thing I always recommend with people is find, and we will be showing these as well, find some magic trick that you like that's simple yet profound, and learn how to do it. This is very important. Show them some magic trick, and of course you don't tell them it's magic. People have been using magic tricks to meet people for many, many years. Everybody likes them. This is something that has been recommended for people when you meet someone, bars, etc. There's always been little bar tricks, magic tricks, and I highly recommend people actually do this so that they can meet people easier. But make yourself special. You have a lot to offer. A lot of people don't get involved in this because they don't think there's interest in it, or they think there's a lot of negativity. Well, there really isn't. People love this stuff. Almost everybody believes in metaphysics, has seen UFOs, ghosts, other things. It's all there. People have these experiences. What happens is that they start to fall into the brainwashing from the dumb bunkers and idiot skeptics who say that this is all nonsense. The only thing that's nonsense are the dumb bunkers and idiot skeptics who are not dealing